Charmaine. She disappeared 22 years ago when she was 8 years old. Police said the new charge related to the remains of a young girl found at 25 Midland Road, a former West family home, last week. The remains still have to be formally identified. Andrew McAllister, accused with his brother Kerry Still of killing an elderly soccer fan with a distress flare at Cardiff Arms Park, have changed their pleas. Both have now admit to manslaughter. They'll be sentenced later. And Sainsbury's profits halved last year, down to £368 million. The company said that had little to do with competition from the cut-price supermarkets or new warehouse clubs. Police seized £500,000 worth of heroin in Bristol today, another frightening statistic of Britain's growing drugs problem, which we've been reporting all this week here on News at 10. As the people of Bristol know to their cost, more drugs means more crime. Across the country, £2 billion worth of burglaries and car crimes are carried out to feed drug habits. Tonight's special report from Norman Rees in Bristol is about the victims of drugs and crime.
The Red Light District, Bristol. It's 9 o'clock, and Claire, a heroin addict, touts her business. She sells her body to buy her drugs. But the first vehicle to stop tonight is not a curb crawler, it's the city's drugs project team dispensing clean needles and condoms.
There you go.
3/4 of Bristol's prostitutes are addicts. They're increasingly at risk of violence from the pushers of heroin and crack cocaine.
There's been 2 shootings this year, yeah. But there's a lot of money in crack. When I work on the street on that corner, this week I've seen 4 muggings, 1 with a claw hammer and 3 with knives. Happening the same as it did in America, and it's crack. It's the devil's latest plague.
The devil's latest plague is exactly how parishioners at nearby St Agnes describe the situation on their doorstep. The church is on Bristol's notorious front line. Right next door is the abandoned drugs den where 4 people have recently died, overdosed on heroin. One young girl was actually thrown out of the house and left to die in the street.
The whole drugs is a pernicious evil in a community because it feeds on the powerless, it feeds on those who are most vulnerable. We've had people being threatened with sort of shotguns, we've had needles and hypodermic syringes in the park with children picking them up and so on.
Bristol had 2,000 drug seizures last year, violent crime associated with them all.
We've had them robbing people and sticking screwdrivers through their faces. They use any weapon that comes to hand. These are the sorts of things carried by the low-level people. As they develop, so they get given a gun. What's sad about it is when they appear at court, they're presented as victims. And the real victims, the people they robbed and hurt, are forgotten.
But the victims can't forget. Here, a crack addict attempts to rob a store at knife point. Armed robberies have almost trebled in the last decade. This one left empty-handed. In this area of Bristol, addicts have been turning over a shop a week. Most owners too intimidated to talk on camera, but it's changed their lives.
In one case, there's a woman, a shopkeeper, who was beaten black and blue in the face. A newsagent, he's been attacked and his family beaten up so severely, he's sold up the business and gone.
A drug addict also changed the lives of Ernest Perry and his 80-year-old wife, Joyce. The addict came through their window on Christmas night, their 4th burglary in 8 months. The light woke them as he grabbed money from their bedside.
And every time we moved from the house, we felt we had to lock everything up, etc. And that goes against the grain, you know.
And this is the addict who did it, Jason Reed. We tracked him down to his home, the council flat he shares with a girlfriend. In 3 months, Jason burgled 200 houses. Jason's excuse? He took crack. Highly addictive and very expensive.
I was spending, say, £600-700 a day.
And here's one of the neighbourhoods he preyed on. Jason, who's now off crack, was happy to show us round.
I'd just pull up to the house, knock on the door, see if anybody was in or not, and kick the door off, run in and get the goods and run out again.
And what sort of things were you looking for?
Just telly and video and whatever was lying on the site, you know, that I thought I could get money for.
Jason was put on probation for his crimes. Does he ever think of the people he robbed?
It can't have been very nice for him, but I think it's, in the life we're living today, I just think that's just part of life.
may be part of life for Jason, his victims will want something better. Norman Rees, News at 10, Bristol.
News at 10's drug and crime series continues tomorrow. The war at sea in the Caribbean. The Royal Navy